Hey there friends, and welcome into today's podcast, which is episode 43, I think. I'm losing track of these episodes, as you can tell. Anyway, welcome into Artemis Anarchy, where we're going to be talking about the Central reboot, upcoming content that I'm making, and that maybe some others are making as well. And we're going to talk about the 55% ad revenue split, when that comes out tomorrow for me, so that's Saturday. For anyone who's watching this on YouTube, because I was recording this on Friday, so tomorrow's Saturday, it starts tomorrow, right? So it started on Saturday, you guys get the gist, right? Okay, so first thing I want to talk about today, though, is the Central reboot, because it is coming out on Tuesday. When's tomorrow? Tomorrow's tomorrow, Rome. How you doing, Rome? And everyone welcome in, working from Rome. There we go. Perfect. See, I've big brained it. But yeah, so we're talking about the Central reboot first today, because again, we all know that I do love me a bit of Central, and we do love a bit of, you know, chaos, anarchy. You know, it's kind of my whole brand, so I have to love Central because of that, clearly. But yeah, so what I'm going to talk about with the Central reboot is also upcoming content with that as well. But first, I'm going to talk about what I'm worried about and what I'm not worried about. So basically, the pros and the cons of the Central reboot in total. So let's start with a lot of the things that I'm liking that's coming back. So firstly, insurance fraud. We do love a bit of insurance fraud here on the channel. You guys know that I love it's one of my favorite activities in the game. In Central 2, in Central 3, in Central 4. I don't think it was in Central 1. I don't believe it was. No, you just had to run around in a hot dog costume with shooting people. But aside from that, it's nothing new. But the insurance fraud does seem like a lot of fun, because I think it's like a racket thing as well. Like, that's what I think it is, I believe. Or that's the way it seems to be setting it up, is that you buy or make a hospital and you get insurance money from said hospital, but you own the hospital, so you're just laundering your money basically, so it's a money laundering scheme kind of thing. Or from the looks of it anyway. But that's an interesting aspect to it if it is going down that route. And yeah, well, we've obviously seen the story trailer now, and I'm going to say that a lot of my fears for the story have been, you know, calmed out. Well, not calmed down, but you know what I mean, right? They're not as present there. So basically, one of my fears is that we're going to take this whole, like, paying off your student loan thing into the game too much and force it down your throat too much, whereas the story trailer has revealed that it's not such a thing. It's just an extra thing to why you're in Santo Elysium, where the game takes place. And basically, you're a new person there, you're doing your own thing, you finally get a job at a PMC, and then something goes to shit, I'm assuming, because in one of the scenes there, in the game, you get buried alive. So I'm interested to see what causes that, and I'm hoping that it's something like really interesting, like one of the rival gangs have done it or something like that. I'm hoping it is that kind of thing, or even Marshall has done it, which is the PMC that you used to work for. But basically, the characters are the main fear for me now. Aside from the student loan thing, the next thing was the characters in Mina and Eli seem okay. But Kevin or Ken or whatever his name is, I can't remember his name. Basically the guy that used to be part of the Idols, which is one of the three gangs, I think. Well, 2 gangs and 1 PMC. But Mina was part of the other ones. I can't remember which one those were. Eli was a member of the he wasn't part of the Los Panteros, he was part of the other one. So Mina, I think, was part of Los Panteros, and Eli was part of the other one, and Kevin/Ken, or whatever the fuck his name is, was part of the Idols, which are basically cyberpunk. They're basically like like this reboot's version of the Deckers from Central 3. That's the easiest way to put it. They focus a lot on the tech side of things. They like their music, they like all this, that, all that kind of stuff. But Kevin is the main problem, because he seems like one of those gang members that are going to get themselves killed very quickly, but he'll have some bullshit way out of it every time and basically fuck the boss over. And I hope he's not a character like that. I hope that he's got a bit more going for him than basic douchebag. Basically the boss from Central 3 is what he seems like, because the boss in Central 3 was a bumbling douchebag. Like, your character just wasn't there mentally, if you know what I mean. Like, you didn't feel like the boss was the boss in Central 3. It felt like Shondi was trying to be the boss and you were just a side character in her whole story thing. But basically, what I think is another good aspect of the game is it seems that you can do heists in the game. And obviously the fact that the actual open world is probably the biggest open world there has been in a Central game. So I think the new ranking, including the new map, of biggest open worlds is Santo Lucio, Central 2's map, so Stillwater in Central 2. Then maybe Stillwater from Central 1. Then Steelport from Central 3, and tied with that is Steelport Central 4 in the simulation. And then I think Get Out of Hell is the smallest map, I think. But back to the whole heist thing. I hope it's not like a GTA type of thing, because then you'll get all the GTA fanboys going, it's a GTA clone, it's a GTA clone. When it's really not, because it's Central. Central is a completely different thing. But again, that's not really a fear that it's going to get called a GTA clone, because ever since Central has existed, there has been GTA fanboys saying that it's a GTA clone, which it clearly isn't. But again, there's a few other things that do look really interesting, like the whole car combat system has been fully revamped almost to a more Just Cause kind of car combat system. That's the closest thing I can say to it. And there's a few aspects from Just Cause that you can see in it, like the wingsuit, sitting on top of cars and shooting, and like all those kind of weird bits from Just Cause. But it could be interesting. And the next thing that I'm really looking forward to is the whole flow system. I know some people might not like the flow system, where you have to get a certain amount of flow by killing people, getting headshots, all that stuff, and then doing one special ability every 30-40 seconds, a minute, depending on how many enemies are around, how good you are at killing those enemies, how accurate you are, blah 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 blah. But I'm looking forward to it because it could possibly give more variation to your special attacks. So like, again, like the one we've seen, I'm not sure if this is part of the flow system or you can do that on a whim whenever you want. But one of the ones that have been shown off a lot has been the one where you basically grab their own grenade, grab the enemy's grenade, pull the pin, put it back on them, and then throw them into their friends and stuff, and it looks so fun. And it looks like such a fun ability. I hope it's an early game ability, but I doubt it will be. But I think it could still be fun. Like, as long as there's more wacky, like, kind of executions like that, I think it could be great. As long as it doesn't try to go Saints 3, Saints 4 kind of wackiness. So like maybe a mix between 2 and 3 would be the perfect one, which it does seem to be. And that brings me on to my next point. The fact that the game looks, and from what I've seen, feels a lot more grounded and back to that Saints Row 2 kind of formula of having a little bit of jokes, having a little bit of wackiness, but having those really serious moments between like the boss and the crew and all that stuff. So like, for example, like, we'll take the Ronin part of Saints Row 2, right? Because that's probably one of the easier ones, right? To do it from. That or Brotherhood, but I think Aisha's story is a lot easier to track than Carlos's. Well, they're both pretty easy, but I don't know. I feel like the contrast that I'm trying to show is a bit more present in the Ronin story. So basically, you get to a point in the game, spoilers for Saints Row 2 if you haven't played it or seen any cutscenes or anything like that, but basically you, Gat, and Pierce go to a Ronin casino, rob the place, they know it's you, then one of the bosses, well, not the boss, but the head of the Ronin's right-hand man goes to Gat's house, holds Aisha hostage, which is Gat's girlfriend / fiance, I can't remember. And basically, when she shouts to Gat that it's a trap, Junichi, or the Ronin's attack dog, basically right-hand man, whatever you want to call him, slices her head off. Or that's what is at least implied, because it doesn't actually show it. But after all this, Gat gets stabbed, Gat goes to the hospital. After Gat's, been fixed up and stuff, they have the funeral and all that stuff. Shogo, who is the leader of the Ronin at that time, who is technically the leader, but his father is technically the guy who runs it, but he's over in Japan doing Yakuza stuff or something like that. But his father is a really nasty piece of shit, let's be honest. But Shogo comes to the funeral, shoots up the place while they're having the funeral for Aisha, and then Gat gets pissed off. Boss goes after Shogo, catches Shogo, brings him back to Gat, who then buries Shogo alive. So, serious point in the Saints Row, in Saints Row 2, that and Carlos's face getting ripped off and the boss having to mercy kill him are the two most serious points of Saints Row 2. Whereas, and then right after Gat and the boss have buried Shogo alive, the next cutscene after that, with the Ronin story, is you're back in your HQ, you're back in the boss's in the Saints HQ, and basically what happens there is, basically what happens is they're just shooting shit to improve accuracy or whatever they're doing, and they're just having a joke about it, like, you think he's still screaming buried alive under there, and the boss comes back with her retort saying, doubt it. But there's a bit of lightheartedness to what just happened, basically, and I think that's what will be great for Saints Row Reboot. And I'm hoping it goes to that kind of, there are serious moments in it, but they can be lighthearted about some parts, have jokes, and that they're not, fully just, serious, like Saints Row 1. And I would say Saints Row 1 almost died. If it wasn't for them making Saints Row 2, Saints Row 3 and 4 would never have happened, which technically would have been a good thing, but also technically a bad thing, because now we wouldn't get the reboot. But Saints Row 2 basically saved it by improving a lot of the combat mechanics, adding a little bit of wackiness to it, and because there's 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 activities that literally let you be a bodyguard that throws people into pimps, and the pimps shoot them with their cane shotgun. You heard me right. The pimps in Saints Row 2 have cane shotguns. And basically in one of the bodyguard activities, there's one at the end of like this runway red carpet thing. And basically if you throw someone over there, basically the pimp will, shoot them with the cane shotgun. And it's just a bit of wackiness. Or like you throw them to other security guards and those security guards throw them back into the helicopter blades. Like there's a bit of silliness to it. Whereas Saints Row 3 and 4 went way over the top with Professor Genki. Like Professor Genki, okay, I can see that being a bit of humor and a bit of wackiness. I get that, but like it also took away from the story a little bit. Well, actually, I will say this about Saints Row 3. There isn't much of a story. There's not like story missions. It's just activities with dialogue about the story. That's it. There's a lot of them like that. There are a few like good mission ones, but that's not until like closer to the end where you've got like it's either at the very, very start of the game. Those ones are fine. Those ones are fun. Or the very end of the game. And even then, some of them do feel a lot like more like a side activity than an actual story mission. Which I hope doesn't happen in Saints Row Reboot, but there's a possibility that it could, but I doubt it. I doubt they would make the same mistake twice. Volition are very good at listening to their community, if you know what I mean. Like, I've seen them do a lot of different stuff, a lot of, like, they'll improve, like, they're still working on a Saints Row 2 patch for the PC port, because the PC port was pretty bad. And basically the creator of the mod that basically fixes the PC port has died. I think he died 2015, something like that. Basically the PC port could not be fixed because they lost the source code. And the only person that could have fixed it was dead by the time they wanted to fix it. So, not a great start to fixing Saints Row 2 and making a remaster. I had to think there. But I think after this patch is worked out, and I think after the Saints Row reboot has had its run and like everyone's done everything in the game and stuff like that, they'll probably announce the Saints Row 2 remaster. And what I'm hoping also that they will do, especially for anyone who went out and bought the like gold or super ultra deluxe version of Saints Row Reboot, hopefully they get the game for free. Unlikely, but I hope so. Because it would be a good gesture, because like the whole thing with getting like Saints Row 3 remastered with the I can't remember what the edition's called. There is an edition of Saints Row. I will actually just go and search it up now for you guys. But basically what it does is it gives you a version with the Saints Row 3 remastered. So the Platinum Edition. Basically the Platinum Edition is everything that the Gold Edition gets with the edition of Saints Row 3 remastered. But if you know before, on Epic, you got Saints Row 3 remastered for free anyway. If you got it in time, obviously. But, like, again, I get that there has to be some other incentive other than just the same as what Gold got. But I don't think Saints Row 3 remastered was the way to go. Especially when they'd already made it free beforehand on Epic about almost a year ago now. Like, I get not everyone would have had the chance, or that they're on Xbox, or that they're on PlayStation or whatever. But again, I would not say that it's a great incentive. I wouldn't say it's a great incentive for Saints Row 3 Remastered to be part of the Platinum Edition, really, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think. Leave it down in the comments below, or if you're here live right now, talk about it if you want and give your opinion on it. But basically, I think there should have been something else that was different and not just like Saints Row 3 Remastered, because the Platinum Edition isn't really worth it, technically. Like, technically, yes, Saints Row 3 Remastered is still like 30 to 20 quid or something like that. 20 to 30 quid. Something in that range. So yes, technically, value for money, you do technically get a bit more, but it's not worth the $84.99 or whatever for the Platinum Edition. The Gold Edition obviously makes sense because it's got the expansion pass, it's got pre-order bonuses and extra other things with it. But like, to make that jump from 70 quid to, 84, I wouldn't say Saints Row 3 Remastered is worth it, personally. Especially when you can still buy Saints Row 3 normal. And in my opinion, I prefer the way Saints Row 3 non-remastered looks. But I just got remastered for free on PC because, again, I was keeping an eye on Epic when I was, playing games on Epic, obviously. Or some games on Epic, anyway. I would just go and check the weekly deal. Or weekly free game. But I think they could have done a bit more. Like, even if they just said, we're working on Saints Row 2 Remastered. If you pre-order Platinum Edition or you get Platinum Edition of Saints Row Reboot, you are guaranteed a free pre-order of Saints Row 2 Remastered. And like, even if they made it a choice to either get Saints Row 3 Remastered or wait until Saints Row 2 Remastered came out and it just automatically pre-ordered it for you without like you having to pay for it and stuff like that, and it gave you it in your Epic library or your Steam library, wherever they were going to release it. I'm going to assume it would have been the, again, Epic library, because Volition, I think, have a deal with Epic or something just now, and that's why Reboot is only on Epic, but you can still get Saints Row 2 and 3 on Steam, because Epic doesn't like old games, clearly. But yeah, so yeah, hopefully we can get something better to get, like, I'm not sure where my line of thought went because I've lost my line of thought, but basically I would love to see a remaster of Saints Row 2, because so far, obviously I can't say anything about Saints Row Reboot yet, but so far Saints Row 2 is my favourite Saints Row, and it seems to be a lot of people's favourite Saints Row. The only problem that Saints Row 2 ever had, so basically the only problem was, okay, I'm losing my train of thought again, apologies. What is it? The respect system. That's what it is. Right. The respect system wasn't the greatest implementation that Saints Row 1 or 2 had, but I think a lot of the good that Saints Row 2 had in the original, in those two games, it seemed to be better. I preferred it a lot more compared to Saints Row 3 and 4. Now, 4 got a bit more back to the boss being, the boss, and, being a pure sociopath. Whereas in in 3, he just didn't feel like he was there. He felt like a side character, or she, depending on what way you played the boss. But I think canonically the boss is male in the original, so from 1 to 4, I think the boss canonically is male. I think. I can't remember, correct me if I'm wrong. But, basically, I don't know, there's something about, like, 4 that puts it ahead of 3 for me, not because of the superpowers were a stupid idea. The alien thing was it was a meh thing, like, we all knew it was coming to that at some point. It's more the fact that when the boss is in a serious situation, he's actually, like, there, and he's present, and he's in the moment, and he's taking charge, and he's being, the boss. Whereas in the 3, he just felt like a bumbling idiot that didn't know how to fucking lead a gang at all. Whereas in 4, he was the president, obviously. He was doing what he was meant to do, basically be a leader of the Saints again. Well, he was always leader of the Saints even when he was president, blah 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 blah. We know the deal, right? We know the deal with the whole being leader of the Saints, being president, which would have never happened, I will be honest. Like, he was a leader of a notorious fucking gang. There's no way he would have been president, actually. Then we remember that Trump was in charge at some point, so maybe not. Anyway, so maybe it is plausible. But basically, I think the boss was a lot more coherent and a lot more, it was getting back to the way that 2 was. That, 2 was a bit more serious, but it had a few jokes, but it was a bit ridiculous, but it had a few jokes, You get what I mean? Like, it was a lot more serious in some of its more story missions. Like, it still had the same problem as 3. A lot of the side activities ended up being filler content between big main story missions, basically. Which wasn't great, but it was, I will say it was better than 3 because it was actually adding something, if you know what I mean. But anyway, enough about Saints Row. Let's talk about my upcoming content. So, upcoming content, I think it's this week or next week. I will be doing Video Horror Society with some others, hopefully. I'm going to see who else is available for that, which should be fun. Basically, I think the closest one is it's like Dead by Daylight, but you can fight back against the monster and stuff like that. And so that's one video that's coming out this week, definitely. Or next week, I don't know. Depends what time I record it, depends what time I get to edit on Sunday. If I get a lot of time to edit on Sunday, there will be about 3 or 4 videos out this week. Obviously for you guys that was yesterday, but for me it's in 2 days from now. But well, for you guys on YouTube anyway. But basically there is some other content coming out. I may be doing a Rumbleverse video because again I've been loving that game off stream and off video and off like YouTube and all that stuff. I will be doing a Saints Row 2 video at some point this week as well. And hopefully there should be a Trek to Yomi video mixed in there somewhere. Obviously there will be a Saints Row reboot video thrown in there at the same time. And I think that's it for future content just now. Obviously in a few weeks, in about 7 weeks now, I think it's episode 43, right? Yeah, it's episode 43 right now. So 6 more, I can't do maths today, I'm sorry. 6 more videos of solo podcasts, 6 more solo podcasts, and then after that, on episode 50, we will be having a mystery guest. I don't know who the mystery guest is yet. The mystery guest doesn't know who the mystery guest is yet, but hopefully I can get that sorted out either this weekend or the weekend or through the week, this week at some point, some point in the next 2 weeks. I'll say that. So, but yeah, that's basically all the upcoming content. I think there's going to be a few Central Reboot streams once I've finished recording. Central Reboot story and stuff like that, and gameplay and stuff like that. Do a few videos on Central Reboot. Hopefully I'll get a couple of Central 2 videos out. There should be some other games coming. I did find a game right before we started this podcast, but I'm going to keep that one a secret for you guys on the podcast. But if you guys seen the pre-part to this stream, you will know what the game is. But yeah, that will be a fun game to record. I will be going and recording that tonight or tomorrow. I do not know yet. But yeah, that's going to be fun. I hope I can get some other things working and other games sorted out with other people. There should be a Fallout 76 one coming out with Yippee-ki-yay, hopefully, when I get it organized, either this week or next week. Guaranteed. I'm going to talk to them tonight about it at some point, either this weekend or next weekend, to record it. So yeah. Yeah, so, like, there are some things stream-wise that might be changing as well. I might be changing when I do the podcast, so it might not be every Thursday anymore, because I don't know, I just feel like some days could be better with me being off. I may cut, and it also may mean I'm cutting down my stream days to 3 days a week, but we will see. Because like you guys maybe seen this week if you were on the Twitch side of things, I didn't do a stream on Tuesday, but I did one on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday was supposed to be one, and Saturday was supposed to be one, but I'm going to change Saturday stream to Sunday now and all that stuff, if I can be bothered to actually, stream on Sunday, unless I'm doing a lot of video content and stuff like that. But yeah, so yeah, basically there's a lot of stream stuff happening. And speaking of stream stuff, actually, let's actually speak of stream stuff, right? I thought my camera froze there for a second, but if you guys are on Twitch watching this just now, you might have noticed that I do have ads running still, but I'm seeing how long it actually keeps things off and see if this 55% thing is going to be working. But which brings us into my next point, actually, segueing us perfectly into this. So here's what I think about, the Twitch ad revenue split and stuff like that, getting the whole 55%, all that stuff. It's a nice gesture from Twitch. That's what I can say. I will say it's a nice gesture from Twitch, but there's a big but coming. And don't you guys in the chat right now get too excited. Not that type of but. But, yeah. For people, especially closer to my size of streamer and stuff, I don't think it's that beneficial. Like, it's beneficial for sure at some point for some affiliates who decide they don't want to do partner or anything like that, but still have a big audience. But strictly speaking, making money terms, I don't think this ad revenue split is going to make you a lot of money if you're a smaller creator. Like, again, I'm talking people with a decent bit higher views than me as well, and people at my average views, and people who have lower views. It's not going to be the greatest, because, and there's a very good reason to this, and it is because basically what constitutes us getting a certain amount of money and stuff is per view, right? So basically each ad per view gets I'll explain it in YouTube terms as well. So basically think about your streams, but instead of it being a stream, be a video, right? So basically your RPM is what basically decides how much you get paid per ad that runs on your channel, right? So say you had that 3 minutes, an hour, right? Whatever. Say you've got, I don't know, 20 average viewers, right? Consistently. Each stream, every stream, 20 is your minimum, right? Just hypothetically, you're not going to get a lot of ad revenue. I will say that. You'll get a decent bit. Don't get me wrong. You'll get a decent bit. You'll get maybe $3, $4, $5 max a month. Again, I'm not the most inclined. I've not got the most knowledge about this, so don't quote me on this because I don't have a real clue. But I'm basing this off of YouTube stuff because your RPM on YouTube is based per 1,000 views. So if you get 1,000 views a video, you're going to get the minimum whatever 55% ad split you get, right? So you'll get money, but you won't get a lot of money, if you know what I mean. If that makes sense to you, which I hope it does. Again, I hope it really does, but I doubt that it makes much sense because I'm explaining it. But again, if you're more interested by this, ask more people that know more than me, because again, I'm doing this based off of what I've seen, what I've heard, and what I'm doing pure guesswork on. Because again, the 55% split, like I said, is a nice fucking gesture by Twitch, but it's not enough to, do stuff with, if that makes sense. You're not going to get, so per 1,000 views, I believe, on Twitch, or your CPM on Twitch is equal throughout the board. It's $3 or something throughout the board, or that's whatever the CPM is, or whatever, or RPM, whatever. I don't know what it is. I think it's clicks per minute or something like that. I can't remember. Don't ask me. Again, ask someone who knows a bit more about the ad side of Twitch, because I don't, figure out ad stuff very well. So basically what I've been doing is I've just been having a look through my analytics, see what changes, see what doesn't, and basically hoping and praying that I can figure it out, which I haven't yet. Give me time. But yeah, so basically that's all I've really got to say on the ad revenue thing. I don't think it's going to be great, but I don't think it's going to be bad, if that makes sense. I think it's going to be okay, but it might not be. It might be there, it might not be there, we don't know yet. But again, like I said, once I've had a week or two on it, I will come back to the ad revenue talk. And yeah, we'll talk about this some more. We'll have a bit more conversation once I understand it a bit more and how it works. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that episode of Artemis Anarchy, episode 43. But yeah, we're going to end it there. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day now, whatever, you know the deal. And yeah, see you guys in the next episode of this, I guess. Or see you guys in the next video that I make. Alright, see you guys in a bit. And yeah, peace.